this like a trick question?
For real, what has he done for us? Our gas prices are up, our grocery prices are up, our electric prices are up. Do you know how hard it is to like support a family of 4?
So I think that the prices are gonna go down. And here's my thing. Until the prices are worse with Donald Trump than they were with Joe Biden, I'm gonna give Trump a chance.
I absolutely agree with you, but like, do you know how much it costs to feed a family of 4?
I'm sure a lot.
A week. Over $400. Like, how does President Trump, who I voted for and support, expect me to support my 2 children when I can't afford to put food in my house? But I can't get welfare because I make too much money. I can't get HUD or what is all the assistance that all the people are getting because I make too much money. But my children have to go with cheap food because I can't afford to put food in their house. Joe Biden is horrible. I'll never stick by Joe Biden.
I'm just like, is it worse or is it better?
Price-wise, I honestly feel like it's worse. I really, really do. Like, I
think the economy is very bad right now.
I voted for him.
We have another FAFO / rules for thee, not for me story, and it is chef's kiss, hypocrisy. Supervisor for ICE has been arrested. You know, the type of people who are tearing families apart and terrorizing communities across the United States. Why was he arrested, you ask? Because he was harboring an undocumented immigrant. And plot twist, he was in a romantic relationship with her, providing her with money, transportation, and even helping her get through checkpoints. Well, let me get this right. Your 9 to 5 was to terrorize these poor people, and then you went home and slept with one every night. While this person has spent years screaming law and order, he now faces up to 10 years in federal prison if convicted. And that's what we call FAFO. If you're going to build your entire personality around following the rules, then you better.
Hello and good morning. Listen, so you know how we've been talking about, how MAGA is dying, fracturing, all of that, all of that. So there's a report out today that says that FAFO News is losing viewership. What? So apparently people in the ranges of ages from 25 to 54, which I thought 54 was oddly specific. But anyway, they're losing the viewers. They're losing viewers in that age range. And they're saying that viewership is actually down on Fox between 15 to 25%. Do y'all think that maybe that fever is breaking? I don't know. I just don't know. It gives me a little bit of hope. I'm not too hopeful, because I know they still, you know what I'm saying. But if, in fact, they're losing that key demographic, 25 to 54, maybe there is a chance that humanity can survive. I don't know. I'm just saying. Because what? Because they know over there, they know they're not making sense. They just be saying shit. Don't be really covering the news. They don't really be talking about what's happening. And I'm thinking that a lot of these people are finally realizing that Sid may not be the most honest. I don't know. What y'all think? But I love this for Fox, though. I ain't gonna lie. I love it. Okay, that's it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Okay, bye.
You're absolutely out of touch. And I understand you're only doing your job, but you're paid to be here. We're not paid to be here. We're actually losing money to be here. So I get it to a small degree, but ethically, the fear mongering. So we've had nothing but name dropping, right? I've heard Trump a dozen times. I don't care. I voted for him 3 times too. I don't care. Trump don't live in my backyard. I've heard hyperbolic fear mongering. That's been my favorite part. The generalities, right? Well, we got national security, open for business, logistics, positive move, actively fortifying. None of that means anything.
Wait, hold on. Let me get my glasses for this. Donald Trump, I voted for you and I love you, but we are not oil and gas independent. We are having a hard time getting diesel fuel for the shrimp boats in Alabama. The boomer mind is really fascinating because think about when Joe Biden was president. We had the Russia-Ukraine war, COVID, economies all over the world being completely shit, which caused inflation to go up, gas prices to go up temporarily. And how did these boomers react? Oh, let's go Brandon. Joe Biden, time to get rid of him. Oh, dementia Biden. All these people were calling for him to be removed from office, incompetent, horrible, all these things. Joe Biden largely fixed a lot of those issues, brought inflation back down, gas prices back to normal, and got no thanks for it. He passed historic legislation. We were brought back to normalcy before this buffoon got into office. And let's compare Donald Trump with his own policies, by choice, started a war, everything up, and made inflation go up. And how do these boomers react? Donald Trump, I love you so much. Everything you're doing is destroying my businesses and way of life. Thank you. Just the most cowardly, beta, and submissive response someone could ever have. Look at this bald idiot. That's the smile of a bozo who would definitely vote for Trump again.
All right, Trumpers, I just got a phone call from a very good friend of mine that I've been friends with from a long time. He's in Chicago, and he is a full-blown Republican, which is kind of interesting to me because, you know, Chicago is all blue. And he told me, this is out of his mouth, that there is so many people that he's friends with that are Republicans, okay, that are now switching over to the Democratic Party. He went on to tell me that he was sorry for all the things that he said about Trump to me. I can't tell you how many people that I've had come up to me and be like, I'm so sorry, I should have done my research better. I'm so sorry for pushing this. I'm so sorry for all this, because this man has destroyed the country as we know it. And it's continuing to happen. And for Donald Trump to think that he's going to get up there and give us a speech to persuade the American people to vote Republican when he has done nothing but destroyed the Republican Party is asinine to me, because we have to get some stability in this country or it's going to continue to fail, and we have to protect our kids, our grandkids, et cetera, on down the line, because inflation is up, gas is up, and Donald Trump continues to bring more corruption versus fixing the problem. He continues to make it worse so he can have his own political gains. Trumpers, come and get me.
On this investing edition of FAFO, Forbes recently dropped an article titled, "I'm Now Broke, Meet the Investors Who Lost Billions Buying Rump Stocks and Crypto." Now, let me say, as someone that specializes in Red Hat FAFO moments, this article was a gem for me. One investor, whose name is Vadim Fistikhan, seemed like he was doing everything correctly. You see, Vadim saved a lot of money. By the time he was in his late 20s, he saved about over $100,000. The article says, quote, "In 2021, the Washington State truck driver eyed a house near family in Florida with a pool and a waterway that led to a river and then the ocean. He says, quote, "We were thinking about pulling the trigger," he says. "Then I saw this whole Trump thing going on." And that investment was basically Rump's Truth Social. You see, Vadim invested $205,000 into the venture, only now for the investment to be only worth $30,000 from the initial $205,000. Vadim decided to vent his frustrations on Truth Social, where he wrote, quote, "I'm like, hey, this is a scam," he says. And a lot of people were like, "No, you're just a Rump hater." And then Vadim said, "No, I was on board since day one. I'm now broke." Another investor named Nick Pinto invested into Rump's meme coin. Nick invested $480,000, allocating about 60% of his entire investment portfolio into the meme coin. And the reason why he did this is because Rump himself said that he wanted to invite the top 220 meme coin investors to a private dinner in order to meet the president himself. Nick himself said that the food was mediocre, the service at the event was poor, and the event felt like a wedding. He says, quote, "They didn't even give me a soda. All I had was water." That meme coin investment ended up losing about 2/3 of its value by the end of the year. And the hilarious part about this is that Nick lost about $250,000, ditching 75% of his position, but decided to leave a little bit of something into the meme coin in case things turn around. Now, even though this is a FAFO type of video, I do want to offer some words of encouragement to both Nick and Vadim. Now, what I will say about this entire situation is that even though you guys did take a huge financial loss, don't quit now. Because there's a strong possibility that things might end up going back to an upward trajectory. That will very likely take place in 2 weeks. And I do want to offer one more thing as a gesture of good faith. But anyways, I normally end my videos with have the day you voted for, but in this specific situation, I'm gonna say have the day that you invested in. Bye.
I made a huge mistake. A friend of mine sent me a video of somebody who is MAGA complaining about the fact that they have no money, and I ended up going down a rabbit hole of people just like her who are taking to this app to talk about how poor they are as a result of this administration. Okay, they voted for this. In many cases, 3 times. 3 times they voted for him. And now they are loudly complaining on the internet that they are broke and on the verge of being unhoused, not being able to afford their medication. It's almost as if we kept saying this over and over and over again. We warned everybody all the time. We told you this would happen. We told you he was going to make things worse for the people who voted for him. And it is happening. People cannot afford to live in this country. You have no one but yourselves to blame. And it makes me so frustrated because the rest of us have to deal with it alongside you.
There's a right way to get in the country and there's a wrong way to get in the country. And anyone that skips the line is just like if me or you were waiting in a steakhouse and some jerk just skipped the whole line and said, screw you, screw you, screw you, and screw you. There's a right way to get in the country and a wrong way to get in the country. And for the people that are doing it the right way, congratulations. And for the people that are doing it the wrong way, well, unfortunately, that's what happens.
So he had a social security number and a work permit. Did you know that?
I did not. I did not. And he obtained them illegally?
You can't do that. You get it from the Social Security Administration.
I'm saying he got them legally?
Yeah.
So then...
He wasn't even the target of the investigation.
But he had a firearm.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have a firearm.
No, he didn't. No, they shot him because they claimed they're trying to protect the public at large, not even officer safety. I would, it's more understandable if you're shooting someone driving a car at you.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the whole scope of it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I appreciate you.
And that's sad then. So he did it the right way.
Yeah, he did.
And still that's what happens. Yeah, that's sad. That's fucking sad. Yep, definitely.
Stunning new reporting and a new examination of the current polls reveal Trump is struggling mightily with a segment of the electorate that has been staunchly on his side. New York Times reports this, quote, blue-collar white voters are, for the first time, seriously doubting Trump's handling of the economy. A review of polling by the New York Times shows an extraordinary swing on that issue among white voters without college degrees between his first midterm election and now. Then, working-class white voters approved of his management of the economy by margins of 30 percentage points or more. Trump's approval among rural Americans has dropped 10 points since he took office, now at 50% from 60% in February of 2025. We're back with Tom and Claire. I thought of you when I read this piece in the Times. It's just such a dramatic swing. It's not that these are the people who dislike him the most. That group is Democrats. It's the group that makes up the largest number of Americans and that has swung the most dramatically. What does that predict for the midterms?
Well, it's huge because here's the thing. I think it's sometimes easy for us to forget that margins matter. I think we look at places that are blue and red, and then we hear about swing purple places. And what people don't realize is the way you flip a seat, whether it's a Senate seat or a congressional seat, is that you don't lose by as much in places that are not friendly to you. Lose by less. Right. And that happens 2 ways. One way is you have people who decide to vote against who they voted for before. But many times it's because people stay home and other people show up. So what's really happening here with this swing and this approval rating is you're not doing anything to the passion that the Democratic Party feels about taking over and getting some guardrails in place and stopping this insanity. But you are losing enthusiasm from the people in particularly rural America that are really hurting right now. And by the way, they have a hard time relating to the people at Mar-a-Lago and the billionaires that he hangs out with. And by the way, they are really struggling with a farm economy that Trump has decimated with his needless war and his tariffs. And their health care is really in trouble. Many of them were getting some of the subsidies to get health care they could afford through Obamacare, and they've lost those. And they're losing their hospitals, and they're losing the ability to see a doctor without having to drive a long distance and paying a lot more for gas in their tank. So those things are going to make a big difference. And I don't think them putting out press releases about how taxes on tips are better is going to do it for them.
Check out how Scott Jennings gets cooked tonight again on CNN, this time by Keith Boykin, who reminded him that it was Trump supporters who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, as he tried to get outraged today about radical leftists.
So if you believe that a government agency is doing something that you don't like, and your choices are A, cast a vote, B, use your words, or C, go set off an incendiary device at the federal building in New York City and you pick C, there is no justification for this. There's no rationalization of it, and it's patently ridiculous if that is what anybody's going to argue tonight.
Let's take Scott's scenario. If you believe a government agency is doing something wrong, do you use your vote, do you use your words, or do you resort to violence? In one very clear example, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, implicitly encouraged people to resort to violence. That was the January 6th insurrection. He didn't tell people your vote was enough. The 80-something lawsuits that we filed were enough. He didn't tell people that we're just going to settle this in sort of a peaceful way. He actually encouraged people to walk from the ellipse to the Capitol, not knowing what might happen, and knowing that these people were armed and violent. This guy, Donald Trump, is responsible for some of the worst, most incendiary, and most politically violent rhetoric in our country. So I don't accept this statement from Scott at all. Violence, political violence, is wrong, whether it's left or right. The problem is, I don't know any president on the Democratic side in my lifetime who's ever encouraged political violence. In fact, I don't know any Republican president in my lifetime who's ever encouraged political violence until Donald Trump.
Keith, slow down. Slow down. You're cooking this demon. You're cooking him way too fast. He doesn't know what to do.
We have crossed the proverbial standard here. We've passed the point of no return with Donald Trump. And if we don't call him out for his responsible activities in encouraging this, we're responsible as well.
Do you have any comment on the actual news story?
I just said taking place from the left.
So you don't have any comment on this?
No, I just told. What else is there to say except I condemn it, Scott? You want me to say more than that?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott. Oh, wow. You didn't realize everything you start crying about, we're going to bring up what Donald Trump is doing yet? I guarantee you, after this conversation, Scott won't be asking anybody else a multiple choice question like that he knows good and doggone well the Trump supporters got wrong. W. Keith Boykin and W. Zeus.
It means a lot to me that Andrew Tate got arrested looking so stupid. He's wearing what can only be described as a going out top and a pair of high water capris. He looks like the owner of a skeevy pawn shop is moonlighting as a key holder at Charlotte Russe. Andrew is so busy laundering money that apparently he forgot to launder his clothes because he can only wear what his auntie left at his house. So this is the pinnacle of masculinity, ladies and gentlemen. Waxed chest hair and his little bird ankles flapping in the wind. You know, I don't think you can sit down in that, Andrew, which had to have been very uncomfortable in a jail cell. Hopefully pedo Donnie does not intervene for y'all this time. I wish you nothing but locusts and plagues. You bald.
So yesterday and today I spent a lot of time reading comments to you from X about Trump's speech, going into it and then the aftermath. And I said he was getting dog walked. I said it was a mistake before he did it. It was a much bigger mistake than I even thought, like reading the comments and how pissed they are. And so I talked a lot about X. I was over there again this afternoon. It's ramping up so much faster and worse than I expected. I mean, I kind of expected it over the weeks, maybe the next month or so, when they don't see anything out of this. It's already here. It's already happening. They are furious. Okay, so that's X, right? And they have no problem talking trash about Trump. But Truth Social, that's like the holy grail. That is where he is safe. That is where he's treated with reverence. And I always say it's like a religious fever dream. And I briefly hopped in there yesterday and I saw a few like, thank you, Trump memes. But that's all I did. And then I spent my time on X. So tonight after X, I thought, okay, I'm going to go check out Truth Social. I could use a little more brain damage today. I've never seen Truth Social like that. They're going after him in a way they never have. And I do check in there a lot. And they just always speak very respectfully. Praise God. We love you, Trump. They're like, if you don't give us arrests, motherfucker, we want those arrests now. Not in 6 months, not in 2 years. And why are those things redacted? There's no one to hide. There's no one to protect. These aren't the Epstein files. These are the files. This is the stuff. This is the proof we have been waiting for 6 goddamn years that people went to jail over with. And you better give it to us, and you better give it to us right goddamn now. There's tons of them. I'm shook. I just kept going. I kept going because I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because it is never, ever, ever, ever like that. And there's people on the left too, like explaining what it says in that stuff, but like they're so mad. There are redactions in there. They're so mad. Like, why are you giving it to us now? Like, you should have already done these and then told us about it. They're pissed that Fox and the networks didn't carry it because they're like, what is that about? Like, this isn't important enough. Like, what's going on there? And then he mentioned something in another post. I only was able to go through 3 of them. Where like, oh, the interest rates are great and this and this and this. And oh my God, stop the gaslighting. Like, check in. What are you talking about? Help us. Yeah, he fucked up with that. Like, he opened up a can of worms, just like he opened up a wound. And now, like, I said it was a mistake for him to go in there when you have Iran, when you have the stuff with Israel, when you have a bad economy, when you have the Epstein files stuff, when you have all these things going on and the stress that people are under, and they are with him because they really believed he was going to make things better. And they're trying to be patient about the Iran war, even though it goes back and forth, and they watch prices go up and down, up against. And it's just that speech snaps something where there's no more patience, there's no more tolerance. They are feeling played, and they can kind of see it now. They're like, if there's not an arrest right now, if you don't get this economy under control right now, we see you. Fuck you. And it is just... So anyway, I'll be back on here tomorrow just to share this with you, because it's never like that. It's never been like that on Truth Social. Not ever. So he's in big trouble. Far worse than I had even anticipated.
Donald Trump has made more money in the last year than the rest of his life combined. I'm going to say that again. Donald Trump has made more money in the last year than the rest of his life combined. A New York Times estimate has recently shown that Donald Trump has reportedly profited $1.4 billion from the presidency, but that number could be far higher. We need to remember that Donald Trump was in over $1 billion of debt before becoming president. On the hook for $84 million for adjudicated rape and 34 felony convictions for tax fraud. So it's not only that our president is making money off the presidency, it's that he's using the presidency to steal taxpayer dollars and weaponize the government to pay off his debt and get out of legal accountability. This is a man who literally stayed out of jail by becoming president again. The American people can't afford groceries or healthcare. The government is cutting food stamps and school lunches, defunding everything from the Department of Education to the Center for Disease Control. And this one man is richer than he has ever been in his life. Please remember, this is the same administration that just used their own Justice Department to sign a deal so the IRS couldn't audit Donald Trump anymore. Not him, not his family, not his businesses. Why? Why would they do that? Who gets a free pass for tax evasion from the American government? Oh, the guy who runs the American government? Great. Do you know that the ballroom contract includes a finder fee for Donald Trump to personally get a kickback off the construction because he put the deal together? The guy knocked down a piece of our history because he wanted to build something else. And he's not only getting what he wants, but he's making money off of it. There is so much corruption happening here, it's hard to keep track. Look at how much the government is paying for detention centers. Detention centers, I might add, that they are no longer going to report the deaths that are coming out of them, which is its own horrific problem. These buildings, they're worth about $5 to $10 million each, but we're buying them for hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's our money, taxpayer money that they're spending. So why are we overpaying for these buildings and who's getting the difference? I mean, I think it's quite clear at this point that our president is selling pardons to actual criminals who are getting their records expunged for $1 million a pop, which not only means the rich can buy get out of jail free cards, but the taxpayers are left on the hook for the money that was stolen from us in Medicare fraud or drug dealing crimes or billionaire tax avoidance. But we just keep moving on from the next insane thing to the next insane thing, while our president, his family, and their friends cash in, and we are left drowning in costs. The American president is stripping our country for parts. And once they've taken all they can, they're going to leave for places like Argentina and islands off the coast of Albania, while the rest of us are left holding the bag. I just want to remind you that all of this is only possible because the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and the Republican Congress are allowing it. The American Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse. They decide where our money is spent. They have congressional oversight for presidential pardons and government contracts. It is Congress with the power to impeach and remove a criminally unfit president, his cabinet, and federal judges and justices. So everything that is happening, from the no-bid contracts going to Trump family and friends, to the defunding of agencies that test for screwworm in Texas or Ebola in Africa, to the members of the Supreme Court being compromised by bribes and lobbyists, to the $1 billion a day we spent on a war that no one wanted. It could all be stopped by Mike and his Republican colleagues. They simply refuse to do it. You don't have to be political or even particularly dialed in to know that Donald Trump is in this job for himself, that he's going to take what he can get. And you can even respect that if you want to. This is a guy that looks out for number one and he is winning. But let's be clear. He's winning at our expense. And the only people who can stop us from robbing us blind and destroying our country have chosen to enable him instead. And that should infuriate every single one of us. Politics be damned. You don't have to be political or even particularly dialed in to know that Donald Trump is in this job for himself, that he will take what he can get. And you can even respect that if you want to. This is a guy that looks out for number one and he is winning. But let's be clear, he is winning at our expense. And the only people who can stop him from robbing us blind and destroying our country have chosen to enable him instead. And that should infuriate every single one of us. Politics be damned.
Welp. I hope Miss Ma'am from the Freedom and Whiskey clip at the very beginning, the very first one, listen to the politics girl at the very end, because that's exactly why she's having so much of a hard time feeding her 2 children with some cheap ass food, is because Donald Trump is taking your money and pocketing it while you are busting your ass trying to work to put food on the table. And that's what I say in most of my FAFO videos lately, is that this man is taking from hardworking individuals, even his own supporters, and is pocketing their money, and they willingly voted for it. Can you believe that? And these are people who are fighting tooth and nail to still defend him. That's something to think about. Imagine, and I want to say this too before I forget. And you could just totally tell that she was trying so hard not to say that it's immigrants and black people taking up all of the welfare. You could just tell, like, how she, and we know that's also why she voted for him. Super crystal clear to see that was another motive for voting for him, because why is everybody else like getting all of the welfare, right, when she's working hard and busting her ass to put food on the table? But no, she makes too much, so she can't get any. It kind of seems like she's a little bit mad. Isn't that what MAGA is staunchly against, is any type of socialism or welfare? But yet it kind of seems like she's pretty butthurt on not being able to reap the benefits of a little bit of food stamps and some welfare, eh? But those are the ones that are so against it. Maybe you should work a little bit harder. That's what you want everyone else to do. But oh no, it's so unfair that these people get to stay home all day and get $1,000 of food stamps. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I don't feel bad because you voted for this. You voted for the man that's robbing you blind and making it 10 times harder for you to afford groceries to put in the refrigerator and put in your kids' mouths and on the kitchen table. Maybe you should have thought about that, but Joe Biden was so bad. At least I'll give her this part. I'll give her this, is that she at least could cop to it and say that Trump prices are way worse than Biden. Oh, but she still hates Biden so much. See, these people will never, ever, ever learn. It's like they could criticize Trump for one off little things like that. That's what, for the things that's hurting them. But yet every other Democrat president was so bad they can't stand them or anything. But look at what Trump's doing to him. Trump is making it so much harder to afford things, but oh, she still can't stand Joe Biden, though. Never heard her say she can't stand Trump anymore, huh? Interesting. But yeah, you guys, again, I wanted to do another little FAFO video for y'all because I felt, in my heart that I needed to do another one. We're more than halfway through the year and I feel like we need to start highlighting this more. And yeah, I also wanted to make a mention of the one clip where it was stated that Fox News has declining viewership. Now I'll have some screenshots going across the screen as usual. I wanted to look into this and it does seem like it is, but what Google and the sources that it's pulling from are attributing it to is because of all of the sports finals. I don't know, y'all. Do y'all believe that we have sports finals every year? Now, maybe I need to look into how it's been like every year since, maybe since 2020 to see. But I don't know. We have sports finals every year. Like, wouldn't it be going down every year? Now, don't get it twisted. I also want to put like full context out there to show you guys that it's still number one by far. Although seeing a decline is promising, we cannot get comfortable with just a little stat there. They double MS Now in ratings, like by over 1 million. So even though it's a little bit of a decline, even though I kind of could see why they're saying that because we had a World Cup this year, but I don't know if I fully believe that, but I guess we could kind of go with it a little bit. But even CNN's viewership has declined, and I see why, because I'm still side-eyeing them for not firing Scott Jennings for that. Like, it's insane. Of course, they're going with, I think I saw this on Threads, of course, they're going with the excuse of, oh, he's not an anchor or a reporter. He's kind of like a contributor or analyst or whatever. So I guess since he's not like directly hired with the company, they don't need to fire him. I roll. You can't find any other Trump supporter that you could use for these debates to put on. Like, it definitely leaves y'all looking kind of sus and really kind of whack to still have this man on here. I'm sure you could find plenty of political influencers on the MAGA side to go on there, but I digress about that. Like I said, I am side-eyeing the hell out of CNN for that, because that is absolutely uncalled for. That this man sat here on live TV and lied about speaking with Mitch McConnell. But I don't want to get too off topic about that. Anyway, to talk about the clip where Zeus talk about like the debate they were having, Jennings totally walked straight into that. It's so bad when everybody else that uses violence, but no, yet a whole sitting president incited thousands of people to invade on democracy on certifying the election and pretty much convinced and influenced people to storm the Capitol. But nothing is wrong with that. That's people fighting for our right to vote and fighting for election integrity and all that. Did y'all clock that whenever at the end of the clip where he says, so you're not going to talk about the topic at hand. When do you ever do? When you want to backtrack and try to evade the answer, that's exactly what you do. No, let Boykin make the point, because it's always convenient for you to go ahead and like slide your way out of a question when it's in a debate. Let's let him do it for once, eh? Y'all, it's only getting started. I mean, we've been having a lot for the past year and a half. Oh, but we're about to approach the second half of this man's presidency, and we're getting closer and closer to the elections, and it's only going to get worse. And I feel that the creators of that have mentioned people confiding in them or seeing people complain about the economy, it's only going to get worse. Once those holidays roll around, oh, we're going to see it even more. And who's to know what he might even do around that time? Like, every day is always going to be interesting with this man. So we never know what could happen next, but it's really crazy. And the fact that they're going to Truth Social to speak their mind about it and let them have it, that's funny as well, as if he's going to listen. It's going to be more Dear Trumps and Dear Mr. President. I would love to see that. Now, I'm not going to be ever getting a Truth Social account just to get this. I really wish the Honey Badger would have, I think that's her name, towards the end there would have put some screenshots just for us to relish in the actual snapshot of the people complaining. But yeah, it just goes to show, if they're taking it over to Truth Social now, it's only gonna get worse from here. And also, I want to piggyback off of Mike Yapps too, because I mention it, but it's like it never fully clocked to me, like the double standard. It's like he's totally right. And the fact that, oh, whenever it's anything to do with Biden, oh, he was so bad, he's making everything worse, 10 times worse. He was the worst president, like dementia and all that, whenever you had slightly higher gas prices. But the difference is that Joe made the motions to make things better, and things were improving. But as you guys have noticed, if you've watched the majority or even one other of my FAFO videos, whenever it comes to MAGA criticizing Trump on the economy or something, they always preface this, and I've made mentions of this too. Oh, we love you, but why are things so high? You promised to make these prices lower. It's never like, oh, I hate Trump, he promised this, he's the worst president. Oh, you will never hear that type of language coming out of their mouth. They still sympathize. It's as if he's like their young child or something that got in like got into like something that they weren't supposed to, and like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, but we love you anyway. You know, never want to be held to the same standard. He's the reason why you can't afford anything, but yet you're okay with just still giving him the adoration that you've been giving him the whole time when he's been messing up. Super weird and super funny, but I guess. But like I said, it's coming, y'all. Like, and the poll from MS Now shows it. Now, of course, polls are such a small sampling of the country. I mean, of course, it doesn't speak for everybody, but all of these polls these news outlets are doing can't all be lies. Like, all of these people, and I have said this through the majority of my FAFO videos, or anything regarding the economy or whatever, like any criticism towards Trump, you will always have the people in comment sections or even on Truth Social, Twitter, wherever, TikTok, saying, oh, I love what he's doing. Those people are just saying that. Trust and believe. I think it's fair to say that a lot of people are probably feeling this, but they're delusional and they're in denial. So they're never going to want to admit it when people bring it up, right? They're going to want to be like, oh, well, I love what he's doing. No, you don't. No, you don't. This man is stealing our money and pocketing it. And these people are totally okay with it. They want everybody else to be arrested. They want everybody involved with 2020 election to be arrested. They want everybody with the Russia thing to be arrested, but no mention of the Epstein files for most of them. Some do. I think that's really interesting. Everybody else has to be held accountable for their crimes, but y'all are letting a man literally rob you blind. And I got to give it to Philip. I got to use that. If there's any more stories that come out about people that invested in this meme coin ish that they all got scammed with, I got to use that. Have the day you invested in. He absolutely ate with that. But again, these people gave away life savings. Now, I mean, if you just had $250,000, I'm not saying by any means, even if you're rich, that's like no sweat off your back. But these people could probably make it again. But imagine losing $200,000 for the first trucker guy, $100,000 to this man who just literally probably stole it out of your pocket to put it in his. How does that make you feel? Like, to me, this is just so embarrassing. Like, I don't think I would ever want to go on record with this. Let me take my L in private, but it gives us good FAFO content, so keep going. The more people that look stupid, the better. I will include it in my videos if I can find it. So please tell us about how you were so willing to invest your life savings into the president and the man that you love so much. Please let us know. Because $200,000, I could have made like a different life with that type of money. I'm just kidding, y'all. But I mean, that's life-changing amounts of money. Like, the average person does not have that much money just laying around. And the fact you went give this to a billionaire, that shit is laughable. I am so sorry. I don't wish this on nobody, but you're an adult. You made the decision to do it. Have the day you invested in, like Philip said. I don't feel bad. Y'all even give him the benefit of the doubt when he's scamming y'all. Like, what kind of... Like, I swear, in 10 years... our children and our nieces and nephews and grandchildren are going to laugh at us. Like, how did we let this happen? In 50 years, when all of this ish is in history books, we're just going to get like the eye roll from the next generation and like our grandkids and children and everything. Like, it's just so embarrassing. At this rate, it is just super embarrassing. Like, all of these clips, we don't know where social media is going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, but it's just not going to ever be a good look. How we allowed this twice. It's just, I just can't get over it, but we're stuck. We have, 2 years and 5 months left? We're counting it down, y'all. We are almost halfway through. We got this. But anyway, you guys, let me know what you think about this down below. Let me know if you have any reaction to any of these clips that I included. And if you made it this far, you know that I appreciate you as always. Yeah, I wanted to treat you guys with another FAFO video since those tend to be my most popular ones. Just as my little treat for kind of being a little MIA last week. Yeah, I had kind of a busy week, so wasn't able to really make any videos, but I'm back. Hopefully, I'll be able to make a little bit more this week. But if you so feel, why not consider giving me a like and subscribe if you found any value or satisfaction, as I'd like to put it, in this FAFO installment. Of course, it's free, no cost, and of course, it would help to grow the channel as well, and it would be super helpful, and I appreciate that also. And that's all I have for you guys today. So I will catch you all in the next video. Bye. See you later.